things are going great. Addicted to Callaway is not in here because it's only from this year. I read Addicted to Callaway last year. I always have to say that because every time I make one of these videos, you guys are like, Addicted to Callaway! And obviously that's my top read ever, but it's just that I didn't read it this year. That's that on that. Hello Shutty Bays, hello besties. You are probably wondering, Larry, first of all, why are you on the floor? Second of all, where are you? Because the background looks different. I will answer all the questions right now. First of all, I don't look my best right now because I couldn't do my hair. I sprained my ankle really badly and I'm supposed to be on bed rest. And so I just did my makeup really quick, holding up a little mirror, and I couldn't see enough to do my hair. So here I am on the floor filming, which explains why I'm on the floor. And the background being different is because I'm at my family's house for the holidays. Yay! Where did I sprain my ankle, you ask? At Disney World. Anyway, we are here to discuss my top reads of the year and my non-top reads of the year. So my favorites and my least favorites. I have 10 of each. I picked 10 favorite reads of the year and 10 least favorite reads of the year. Are you shocked that I was able to do that? Because I sure am. So just a PSA, obviously a lot of my favorites are not gonna be on here, but that's because I could only do 10, so I picked my top. I have here my little list on my handy dandy phone. I'm gonna be talking about these books, but not really, because my top favorites I've talked about so much that you guys already know. So I'm just gonna be telling you why they're my favorites. And then my bottom, I could probably not tell you a lot about them because I forget. As soon as a book is not my favorite, I forget. Like, I hate it and it's gone. It's gone out of my brain. I'll start with the bottom because the top is more exciting. The bottom, there's really not much to it. This is not in any particular order, by the way, but first up is Lingus. I remember this book being extremely annoying to me. I think that's why I didn't like it. Like, the MC was very mean towards other women, and I think that that was my biggest thing. Like, she was judgy, and I don't like that. The way women act towards each other in a book can make it or break it for me. I like supportive women. I like women that lift each other up. I don't like it when they tear each other down or when they're judgmental towards other people. I don't know. I don't like that at all in real life or in books, in any kind of entertainment thing. I love seeing really strong women relationships, which is why I love Addicted Callaway so much, because the Callaway sisters are so close. And in this one, I just felt like the MC was very mean and I didn't like that. So I think that was the big reason why I didn't like this one. And the plot kind of was just boring to me. It seemed like it could be really fun because I think that this is like a porn star convention or something like that. I think it had the premise of being really good, and you know I love MZ, but this just did not hit for me. I don't even remember what I rated it, but it was definitely not a good read for me personally. Maybe you'll like it. Not me though. Y'all stay safe. Resurrection of Wildflowers. I was going into this duet. It's The Confidence of Wildflowers and then The Resurrection, and I was loving the first one so much. But something happens in the end of the book, and if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And I felt like it was so unnecessary, and it was just done to kind of shock you and make another book, and I didn't like it at all. Like, it was one of those things that you can't even trigger warn for because it was so bad. I don't know. I hated it so incredibly much. So that made me not like The Confidence of Wildflowers all that much, but I still liked the beginning a lot and I still liked the love story. So I think that one wasn't so bad, but then the second one made it even worse because it really focused on the events that happened in the last one. And I didn't like anything that happened in this book. And it kind of just pissed me off even more. So this was not for me at all. Maybe it's for someone else out there, but it's definitely not for me. The Wrong Heart. I finished this somehow. I don't know how, because I really didn't like it. It was just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. These people could not catch a break. And I wanted some happiness at some point, and there just wasn't. And the ending kind of angered me like no other. It was a happily ever after, don't get me wrong, but not in the way that I like it. It was a happily ever after in the way of like, oh, this is life and this is what happens. And I'm like, no, I'm not reading books to remember what life is like. I'm reading books to escape life. I don't want to see it in books. That's the whole point, is for me to escape. I don't want to be bombarded with the truth. And I feel like this is what the ending of this book did for me, which is why I hated it so much. The Wrong Heart. It was wrong for me. Sustained. This book was so funny at first. I really thought it was so good, the family dynamic in it, because like the girl in it has a bunch of kids she takes care of and the guy doesn't want anything to do with family or anything. So I loved that dynamic, but I just could not stand the way he spoke about anything. Like the way he spoke about women, the way he spoke about his job, the way he spoke about his friends. I just didn't like anything about this man, and this entire book is in his POV, and I couldn't stand being in his POV any longer. so I didn't even finish this one. I think I got like 30% in and then I was like, this isn't for me. I really wanted to see how the family dynamic was gonna work out. I really liked the kids and I really liked her. Actually, I didn't really even like her. She kind of just did not have much personality to me, but the kids were really fun. But I just could not stand him. And I know he was obviously gonna have a character arc, a really good one, but I could not wait around for it. I will be trying other Emma Chase books, but not this one. A Merry Little Me Cute. I don't know what it was about this book that I did not like, but it just didn't hit for me at all. I really was so excited for it. I love the cover. I love the concept. I love the representations that was in it, but I could not bring myself to like it. The characters just had no chemistry. And I kid you not, if I hear the words gingerbread lotion one more time, it'll be far too much. This just was not very merry to me. Not so meant to be. I wish I liked this one. I really do. This was a big disappointment for me because I love A Not So Me Cute. It's one of my favorites. But this one was just not it. I don't know. The girl was so annoying. She was so mean. She was so mean. I was like, girl, I need you to relax a little bit. I need you to be a little sweeter. And he was like, okay, but also too childish for me. So they just didn't go together. I really couldn't stand any of it. And it's funny because the girl in the first book, she shows up and I really liked her in the first book, but then I didn't like her in her own book. So I hope the third one is better because I feel like the third one could be really good, but I was expecting a lot out of this one and I didn't get it at all. I don't even think I finished it. And it also kind of ruined some of the characters from A Not So Me Cute for me. Like Huxley and Lottie in A Not So Me Cute were so amazing. And in this book, they were kind of just annoying. So I don't know. I just didn't like anything about this. This was definitely a miss for me. Don't even think I finished it. Enemies. I could not tell you a single good thing about this book, in my opinion. Girly could not catch a break. Everything that could possibly go wrong in someone's life went wrong in her life. And it felt like just trauma for the sake of trauma. It didn't do anything. And then they kind of just like hooked up at a really sad part in her life where it felt like she had no one. And I wanted them to be together because they wanted to be, not because she had nobody else. And there was a lot of like just tension and smut between them. It didn't feel like love. It just felt like passion, if that makes sense. I don't know. I did not like this at all. I wish I did. I wanted to really badly, but sometimes you don't get what you want. And this was one of those cases. Dirty Curve. I love the concept of the book because it's like a very smart girl tutoring the very popular player in college. So it gave me Nayli, and he calls her tutor girl, I think. So it really was Nayli vibes. I was so excited, but he was horrible. He was horrible. He thought he was God's gift to women, and I really hated that. It could have been a great character arc. I feel like maybe it was, and I just don't remember. I think he got better by the end. I'm pretty sure he did, but like so many of the plot twists also pissed me off. There was one plot twist that I was like, okay, not so bad. But then there was another one that I was like, for what? You did this for what? Just makes no sense to me why you threw these plot twists in to make the book interesting. And it just made me angry. But Noah Riley was in it at certain points, and I did like that. Silver lining. The words. There are no words to describe how disappointed I was with this book. I was so excited to read it. This, I was thinking, was going to be one of my top reads because people love it so much. I'm definitely in the minority here, you guys. So if you want to read this book and try it out, please do, because most people love it. I just didn't like it. I just think the plus size representation was done in a way that I personally did not like it because, you know, she loses a lot of weight and then they get together. I didn't like that. Granted, he still liked her before that. So it's not one of those things where he didn't like her. He did, but he only spoke about her beauty after she lost weight. It didn't sit right with me, that entire thing. And what he did, I could never forgive. I couldn't. Like, there are certain things in books that I'm like, you went too far. I feel like he went too far in this one. Like, the whole plot of the book is him doing something that is just unforgivable, in my opinion, and he was just horrible. And she was great. I really liked her. She saved the book for me, but I didn't like this one, but a lot of people do, so maybe try it out. And lastly, for my bottom 10 is Credence. You guys know. Here's the thing, I love to hate this book. I love to hate this book. I don't even think I hate it all that much because I talk about it so much. It's actually so fun, but I don't like it. But it's fun, but I hate it. It's just a girly goes into the woods and gets stuck in there all winter with two of her step cousins and her step uncle, and things happen between all of them. The spice is definitely great, but her calling him Uncle Jake while they're just yeah, I didn't like Caleb at all. Noah was okay. He was like the only okay part of this book. I don't know. All of it kind of was horrible to me. But winter came and they all came and there's just a lot of coming going on. So maybe it's the perfect winter read. But I hate it. I love to hate it. That's what it is. So those are my bottom 10 books of the year. Let's get to the top 10 because that's where the fun is at, okay? I don't like to talk about books that I don't like. As you guys know, I most of the times don't discuss books that I don't like. I usually just talk about it in my wrap-ups or in a video like this where I just tell you books I didn't like. But I feel like books are so subjective that me hating a book does not mean that you're gonna hate the book, you know? So I don't like to judge anybody's taste or anything like that. If you liked any of the books I just mentioned, that is perfectly fine. They just weren't for me, but maybe they were for you. As long as you're not hurting anyone, read whatever the fuck you want. Those just weren't for me. But let's talk about the ones that were for me. Grip, Kennedy Ryan. No one is shocked by that. I love this book more than I love myself. That doesn't say much, but I love this book. I love how much this book teaches you. I love that it wasn't just romance. There was so much more to this book. It is a black man with a white woman, and she learns a lot from him. You get to see police brutality. You get to see prison reform. You get to see so much in this book that it's just so much more than romance. Search up trigger warnings for sure if you're gonna read it because it's very heavy, but in the best way. I think this is one of the best books I've ever read. Their love is one of those loves that I'm like, wow, soulmates. I felt it through the pages. You know what I mean? So please, please read Grip. I could not recommend it more. It's brother's best friend. You get a little bit of second chance. You get a little bit of enemies to lovers. You get It's Always Been You. You get conversations about racism, police brutality, prison reform, an interracial couple. There's so much in this book. Please read it. Now on a completely different side of that, Magnolia Parks. The Magnolia Parks universe. I love it so much. It's not for everyone. Please beware. There is cheating in these books. If you are not a fan of the cheating trope, do not read it. It's not happening in the book, but it's something that happened before the book starts, and it does have a lot of conversations about it in the book. I love BJ and Magnolia with my entire heart. They are one of my favorite couples of the year. I could not put these books in here, but it's not for everyone. Like I said, it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of high society London and rich kids being rich kids, and I live for it, okay? I love Gossip Girl. I love Chuck and Blair. So of course, I love this book. I cannot believe this book made it in here because this was one of my recent reads, but it just blew me away. Mile High. I want everybody to read this book. I want everybody to read it, okay? It is so good. It is so fucking good. It has so much representation. The female lead is plus size. It is a sports romance and she is his flight attendant. Everything in this book is amazing. It has a lot of spice as well. The spice is immaculate. The romance is incredible. It was a long book, but at the end of it, I was like, I would like more. So clearly it is a good fucking book because if it's that long and I still wanted more, come on now. And there's gonna be another book coming out soon of characters you meet in this book. So please, please read Mile High. I read it recently and it just had to be in this video. I could not imagine a world where this wasn't one of my favorite reads of the year. Juniper Hill. Juniper Hill. This is the coziest read. Not much happens in this book, okay? It's literally a small town in Montana and it's a chef and then a single mom. Not much occurs, but in the best way. It's so comfy, it's so cozy. You fall for these characters so much and everything that happens in it, you just swoon. It's one of those reads that you lay down in the middle of the night with like the fireplace going, or if you don't have a fireplace like me, you put one of those fireplace things on the TV and then you just read that book forever. You do not move until you're done. It's one of those. It is incredible. Please, if you're looking for a comfy, cozy, feel-good read, Juniper Hill. And there's a baby in it. Such a cute baby. And a single mom. Small town. A chef. Come on. Still beating. Of course. Still beating. It had to be here. This is a dark romance. I'm pretty sure I only have 2 dark romances in this entire list. But this is a dark romance like no other that I've seen before. It's literally like she gets kidnapped with him. So it's very, very dark. Please search up trigger warnings for this one. Search up trigger warnings for all the books I'm talking about in this video, just in case. But this one is very, very, very heavy. But I loved it. Their love transcended everything for me. Like at points, I thought that it would be toxic, if that makes sense. Like I was like, how are they gonna make this a healthy relationship? But then the author did it. Still Beating is definitely one of my top reads of the year. Definitely one of my top reads of all time. I adore this book with my entire heart. The quotes in this book too, it's still beating as long as it's still beating. Redeemed, of course. Now, I was in between Wrecked and Redeemed. I love both so much, but Redeemed won because I adore this book. Santi and Chloe just got me. They were my most anticipated couple when I went into the Dirty Air series and they did not disappoint. The entire plot was amazing. It's so Grumpy Sunshine. It's fake dating. All of it was so good. The ending was amazing. Lauren Asher always kills it with the prologues and with the epilogues. I was not disappointed by this book at all, which is insane because I was expecting a lot out of it. I was expecting it to be amazing, and it exceeded that. How'd that happen? I don't know. I'm sure The Final Offer, which is the next book in the Dreamland Billionaires, is gonna be my favorite Lauren Asher book ever, but so far it's redeemed. Twisted Hate and Oh Hong. Now listen, Twisted Lies was a big contender as well, but I just love Twisted Hate so much. Now this is kind of an unpopular opinion because most people like Twisted Lies more and most people don't like Josh, but I love Josh and I love Jules. I think the reason why this book was so good to me is because they are so different. Like, it felt like Twisted Love, Twisted Games, and Twisted Lies. The characters are so similar. The guys are so similar. But Twisted Hate brought something so different to the table. These characters are funny and goofy, and they're silly, and they're very much enemies with benefits. There was so much to this storyline, and they are such flawed characters that I loved to see it. I don't want to read about perfect characters. I want to read about people that are humans and make mistakes, and you learn and you grow together. And that's what I felt like this book brought. It is definitely my favorite book in the Twisted series, along with Twisted Lies. Like I said, big contender, but at the end of the day, this one's my favorite. The Mindfuck series, of course. This is a series, but it's in one book, so you know, I'm just counting it. It could be the last one that's my favorite or the first one, whichever. I rated all of them 5 stars. I love this entire series so fucking much. Search of Trigger Warnings. Very heavy, but it's unlike anything I've read before. It's very much a mystery thriller romance, which I liked. It brought 2 things that I love and put them together because a lot of the times I get bored with romance. So amazing. It kept me on my toes. I did not want to stop reading it. Everything about it was incredible. Please read the Mindfuck series. Please. Say You Swear. Of course, Noah Riley is one of my top book boyfriends of the year. He's like a book husband. I love him. I love this book. I love Ariana. I loved everything about it. It is a love triangle, but like not an annoying love triangle, I promise. It's one of those that you're like, okay, I get it. Everybody's kind of on the same team. There's no other team really. It's amazing. It's college, it's sports romance, it's friends to lovers a little bit. I love it. It is literally one of the most incredible books I've ever read. Search of Trigger Warnings for it because there are some heavy topics in it. It's one of those love overcomes all kind of books. And lastly, but certainly not least, Binding 13. Of course, this is gonna go down as one of my favorite books of all time. I love Binding and Keeping 13 so much. I love Johnny and Shannon. I love their story. I love how deep this book is. I love how much you get to know the characters. This book, even though it's dual POV, it feels like you get to know every single character. I've never felt like I knew side characters so well without even having their POV. The last 2 times I felt like that was Addicted Calloway and Magnolia Park's universe. I feel like I know those characters so well, and it's the same with Binding and Keeping 13. Like, I don't only know Johnny and Shannon, I also know Claire and Gypsy and all of them. And I'm pretty sure more books are coming, so y'all, amazing. Please read Binding and Keeping 13. Search of Trigger Warnings. These books are so incredibly heavy. Would highly recommend everybody to read Binding and Keeping 13. I love you guys so much. I hope you have such a good day. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know what other videos you want to see before the year's over. I'm going to try to get as many as I possibly can out to you. I have a bunch pre-filmed that I'll be able to edit and post, hopefully. Love you so much. Anyways, tell me your top reads of the year. Tell me your least favorites of the year. Tell me anything you want to let me know in the comments below. I love you. I can't come that close because I can't move, but